So that is where if you go manually, right? If you click on this link, it will take you to the manage relationship dialog box. So that is where we specify the cross filter direction as both. Okay. And supposing, yeah, I repeat it for the sake of recording. The customer dimension table wants to filter the product dimension table. Then you need to enable this relationship as bidirection. Okay, only then the customer dimension can filter this one, because there are no direct relationship exists between these two tables. Okay, so and what is the way out? Okay, so but again, okay, I can manually configure this as bidirectional relationship by going here, and I can do it here. I can specify it here, but that is not the best practice. So, okay, so here if I go and enable it both, it'll get enabled, but that is not the best practice because it will literally slow down the performance. Okay. So what is the way out for this? The one way out is, yes, I have shown you how to create the cross filter. Sorry, the function. How to? This is a function called cross filter in DAX, using which what we can do is we can temporarily enable the relationship between the tables as the bidirectional relationship until this calculation is done. Right? As long as this calculation is done, this one will be enabled as bidirection. Once this computation is over, this one will be reset as a single, the unidirectional relationship. Okay, look here, I did not enable bidirectional relationship now. And when I use the measures here, look here, in this case, cross filter between customer dimension and here, yeah, product dimension, and I want to use the product dimension to cross filter the customer dimension. So in that case, I need to enable the bidirectional relationship between the customer table and the fact table. That is what I did it here using cross filter function. The third option here is both. And right, so once I enable it temporarily, the bidirectional relationship, using calculate function, we are computing the number of customers that they purchased each product. Okay, and similarly, the product. So in the case of this visual, in this case of the right, so the visual customer name, we wanted to find out how many number of products purchased by each customers. So here I have used the customer dimension table to filter the product dimension table. Okay, so in that case, the product and the sales fact table needs to be enabled as a bidirectional relationship, and I need to count the products here. So this works fine. Okay, without manually configuring this one. I mean, manually configuring the cross filter directions both, I'm able to, with the help of the DAX function, right, I'm able to do this. So for this, I created two measures. This measure, I used it in this visual. So it shows each product is purchased by how many number of customers here. Okay, and here, what is this? Count of customer ID. Okay, here. Okay. Here, this is the one true, right? The one which I shared with you was this one. That version is this one. Let me just open that. We worked up to this one, isn't it? Right up to this, we have worked yesterday. So the challenge here is, if you drag and drop the customer ID directly from the customer dimension table here, it was not getting filtered, right? The number of customers, the product dimension too. If I drag and drop the product, customer ID. The customer ID, if I drop it here, it was not getting filtered because product dimension cannot filter the customer dimension, right? So for that, we had to enable the cross filter direction both manually. Okay. Other option is, yes, I have created the measure. With the help of the measure, now we are able to find out, the cashew nut was bought by 3 customers, fine. Is there any other way that we can avoid, for example, I don't want to use the measure. Okay, I don't want to manually configure this setting as a bidirectional relationship both. Okay, both the cross filter direction, both. I don't want to enable it. And at the same time, I don't want to use a measure. Is there any way I can do it? is there any way I can avoid using the manual way of enabling the cross filter direction? So one way out is you can create the measure. What is the other way out? Are you able to understand the question? See here, I did not see. I want to use the product dimension to filter this table. Since there is no direct relationship, the line, there is no line here, I cannot do it. Hence, I'll have to enable bi-directional relationship between the sales factor and this one. Okay. And but manually, if I enable it, it will be permanent, right? So if you go to the report canvas, anytime when you view the data here, it'll be like the relationship, the direction of the relationship is both between sales factor and customer dimension. Okay, so for that, I don't want to make it both because it causes performance issue. But other option is I can use a measure. Okay, what is the other option? Okay, we can use something like a bridge table. We can create a bridge table. So in between the fact table and these two dimension table, I have created a bridge table. In this case, the customer ID and product ID. Okay, in this table, the product ID. Okay, and then in this table, the customer ID. Okay, these two columns, see the customer ID is the product ID is the primary key here. Okay, the customer ID is the product primary key here, or it is a surrogate key. This is the surrogate key here. Okay, I brought these two primary key or these two tables primary key into this table so that the bridge table can filter the sales fact table. Okay, in that case, what happens is, look here, in this case, I made sure that I'll just show you what is there in the bridge table. Product ID and customer ID. So this is the data we have it. The combination of these two are unique. P001, C01 should not repeat with this combination. P002, C001 should not repeat. Okay, so that is how I created. How I created it? Look here, I just went to the Power Query editor. For your sake, I just repeat this. See what I did. I just okay, here I just duplicate this. In real time, it's a huge file. You cannot duplicate it. Just for the sake of your understanding, I'm just doing it. I just right-clicked it and then renamed it as bridge table. Table 3. Okay, this is for you how I created the bridge table. Okay, for that purpose, I just duplicated this. And what I did, right, I selected the product ID and customer ID and right-clicked on it, remove other columns. Because the bridge table should have the primary key column from your product dimension and then the primary key column from your customer dimension. Since I selected these two columns, how can you select more than one column? You need to hold the control key and select this one. Okay, right-click on it, remove duplicates. In that case, it will consider both the values before removing the duplicates. Okay, but if I select only this column and if I do this remove duplicates, what will happen? C001, it will not be there, right? Only one C001 will be there. Okay, I don't want that way to be removed. Right-click on it and then remove it. So in this case, I selected these two columns and then I'm removing the duplicates. It's something like your employee ID, and this is your employee ID and your for example, your employee ID or your date of join. Let's think that way, not the employee ID. What else we can consider? The unique ID, the Aadhaar number, your Aadhaar number and the employee ID. Okay, each employee will have the Aadhaar number. So this Aadhaar number belongs to this employee ID. We need to specify, right? The employee ID and the Aadhaar number should not get duplicated. Okay, with the combination of these two, Aadhaar number and employee ID, with the combination of these two, we can uniquely identify an employee. You would just take this as an example. Okay, fine. So with the combination of this only, I selected, that is the reason I selected these two columns and then I removed the duplicates. Okay, but if I go individually here, right, there will be some confusion. Okay, that's the reason I select these two columns and then remove the duplicates. See, there are other way of creating this table. So this is how I create the bridge table. Okay, so look here, the bridge table have only these two columns, product ID and customer ID. Got it? Okay, next what I did, I just, in this case, I'm not going to apply this one because this I created just for the demo purpose. And then I just close it. And then I go, that is how I create the bridge table. So the bridge table have the product ID and customer ID column. The combination of these two columns, values, right, are unique. Okay, and then what I did, I just linked the product ID from here to here and customer ID from here to here. Okay, you keep the cursor here, customer ID got linked, and this one got linked. And then from here, what I did, I just selected the product ID and product ID here. Okay, since the product ID repeats, if you go by individually the product ID column, you will have duplicates, obviously, because different customers, they purchased, or maybe a single customer or a single product would have purchased more than one product, more than one customer, or a single customer would have purchased more than one product. So in that case, you will have duplicates will be there. If you look at individual column value, you will have duplicates because this is the foreign key. Why it is called foreign key? The values for the customer ID comes from this table. The values for product ID comes from this table. Don't tell me, sir, you have used this table. Forget about this. Okay, the values for product ID comes from this table and customer ID. Whatever the values are there in this product ID column of this table, only that value should be there, but it can have duplicates here. Whereas here it should not have duplicate. The same thing is applicable here. Okay, fine. So these two are one-to-many, two one-to-many table relationships are there. And now what I did, I just create the relationship between these two tables. Okay, here it is, I use the product ID. When you click on it, because our intention here is we wanted to look here, many to many. And here what happens is the bridge table filters sales fact table. Okay, the bridge table filters fact table. So that is the relationship I selected. But here the product ID create the relationship because we want to use the product table to filter the customer dimension, right? Or we want the product name to be displayed first. Fine. The next step is look here. Up to this, it is same. Okay, I was here. Okay, okay. Up to this, scene, right? Yesterday, I have shown you how to create a measure. In that measure, how to use the cross filter function. Using the cross filtering function, I demonstrated how to enable the bidirectional relationship temporarily, right? Okay. So this one, what happened now? I have created a bridge table. And look here, when I select this table here, the view table visual, and then look here, I have dragged and dropped the customer ID from the bridge table. This is the bridge table I created, right? You don't see the other table. You look at only this table. This customer ID dropped it here. Count of customer ID. So what happens is, in this case, I don't need this measure also, right? It is doing the perfect job here. Instead, if I drop the customer ID from here, And if I do the count here, the customer ID now comes from which table? Customer dimension table. I will ask questions. Each one of you have to answer it. Okay, please concentrate here. Look here, it is not doing the filtering because the customer dimension table is not filtering my sales fact directly. Instead, the bridge table is the one filtering my sales fact table. But in this case, in the bridge table, customer ID, if I drop it here, since the customer ID is available as part of the bridge table, what happens is it is doing the filtering perfectly here, right? It is doing the filtering correctly here. So in that case, we don't need a, what is that, measure also, right? You all agree with me or not? Priyanka. So using the bridge table, we can, eliminate or we don't need a measure also in this case. Okay, right? Got it. Okay, the same thing you need to test it with the customer name. For example, this is the assignment. The first column is the customer name. And, we wanted to know each customer, how many number of products they purchased it. Okay, look here, if I select this visual, the product between cross filter between product and, yeah, this one became invalid. Why? Because product dimension is not filtering the sales fact directly, right? First of all, we don't need this one. And what you do is here, you need to select the customer, leave it as it is. Simply, see, when you open the report, if I share it, you will have an error like this, but you can see it's something wrong here. This one, you don't need it, right? And then all I need is the customer name and each customer, how many number of products they purchased it. See here, it shows 81, 55 and all. It is not correct. Product ID comes from sales fact table, because if you see here the product, this is the product table data. Instead of going to data view, here itself, I just put it here. The product table data here. You can, do you think we have 81 and 55 records are there here, right? Nothing. Okay, it shows 81, Chris, something wrong here, right? So I want you to address this one with this example. I demonstrate, right? With this, you try this one. Okay, and then see, how whether you can achieve the results, somewhat, related to this. Okay, this is just for your reference purpose. Don't copy paste this. All I need is the count of product ID. The count of product ID. So I wanted to understand, Chris, how many number of products he purchased. Hemal, he purchased how many number of products. But currently it shows something wrong here. Okay, I want you to display the correct value and see what changes you can do it. And then with that, if you are able to, so this one comes from where? Count of sales, in the sales fact table, it is coming here. We don't need it from the sales fact table. And can I do it from here to here? This one, you need to check it out. I did it. Okay, on your behalf, I did it. Okay, so it is working fine. So in this case, did I create any measure? Nothing. Did I use any measure? No. Right here also, I did not use any measure. So with the help of the bridge table, we can eliminate the need of manually configuring the bidirectional relationship as both. And also we can eliminate the need of creating the measures. So now the bridge table is the one doing the filtering. Okay, my manager is a difficult nut to crack. What he says now is, see, this is another requirement. Listen very carefully. Now he is asking me a question like, hey, that is fine. Everything is fine, man. Fine. I want a report. Okay, you mentioned about the product name and how many each product, how many quantities that we sold in total, and how many transactions, how many number of records are there, or how many transactions happen for the cash unit. Okay, and this one, okay, how many number of customers purchased each product. Now he goes one step further. Okay, he's a very shrewd guy, and he tells me, in addition to that, I wanted to see how many number of locations we sold each product. Cashew nut, we sold it in how many cities? Where is that thing here? The location is not there. Instead of going to the data view, right? Since the value of the data, the number of records are less, I'll just put it here, so that we don't have to go every now and then. Okay. Here, if you see here, how many cities are there? So 2, 4, 6, maximum 8 also, right? But he wants to see the cashew nut is purchased in which all cities. You want to see that. For example, let's assume that hypothetically cashew nut was bought in Chennai, Bangalore, and Mumbai. So it should show three cities. In 3 cities, they purchased cashew nut. How many number of customers purchased? 3. That doesn't mean all the 3 customers are living in a specific only one location, right? There may be one customer lives in Bangalore, one customer lives in Mumbai, one customer lives in Chennai. But end of the day, I wanted to know how many number of cities we sold each product. How will you do that? Now I just enable the, yeah, you can ask questions now. How will you do that? I just go to this one. How will you do that? You need to have the obviously you need to have the dimension table here. Okay. Okay, dimension table, we can include it here. So this one already we discussed, dim product, dim customer, but here a bridge table 2 is there. And forget, yeah, this is a bridge table and then location. Okay, because to meet this requirement, you need to have the location table, because in the location table only you have location key and location, because you cannot use the location key from here. Okay. In addition to that, he wants to see each product in how many number of cities we sold each product. Along with that, he wanted to see this detail also. Which detail? In each product, how many number of customers they bought it, and how many number of cities we sold each product. To answer to that question, what will you do? Okay, this is the assignment for you. You just give it a try. What I do is probably I will share this file. You don't have to create the relationship manually. Okay, and then see how best you can do it. So now the bridge table, earlier the bridge table was having the product ID from this table. We just copied the product ID from here to here, and then the product ID from here to here. But what we did, whatever the customer ID in the product, right, the combination, that should be there here, right? Whatever the combination that you have, it should be there here. Okay. So now the question is, yeah, so location dimension, customer dimension, product dimension. Okay. We have now, you need to have the combination of these 3 tables key column. Customer ID, product ID, location key. Is it correct? Is that correct? Pavat Pari says yes. Nitesh says yes. How about others? Okay. Now what you do is you just test this one. This is an assignment for you all. Okay. And then, but end of the day, I need the report that way. Yes, Pavat, right? So we need to combine But after combining this, can I get that one? Right? So that is what I need to know that. See, the one thing is we don't want to use the bidirectional relationship. We don't want to configure it manually. For that, the one approach is we can use the measure. In the measure, we can create a measure wherein we can use a DAX function cross filter. But I don't want that one also. With the help of the bridge table, I was able to overcome that, right? So I am able to filter the number of customers or the customer dimension table, right? Using with the help of the bridge table. Now I want that one, so that one you try it out. That is an assignment for you all. Okay. See, basically here in this case, all the combination of customer and product ID, right? So we have we made sure that are available here. Okay, for that purpose, what I did, I just duplicated this query, and then I just retained only the product ID and customer ID, and rest of them I removed it, rest of the columns, and then I did it. But in the real-time scenario, you have you have used in fact the sales fact table has to be used in the direct query mode. Okay. 1 second. Here the dual mode is not enabled. I don't know why it is not enabled. Storage mode, you should be able to enable it here. 1 second. That the direct query and all will discuss it later. Okay, at this moment you give it a try. Okay, I will share the same file and you make a change to the existing bridge table. So what you do is you need to go to the transform data. You can use the same query. Bridge table, you can use it. Here what you do is I removed the column, removed other columns, right? Here what you do is remove, you just click on this one. And then you can link, keep the location, you click on OK, that's all. Okay. You don't have to have another table. That is for my demonstration purpose. Okay. So in this table, you understood how to include one more column, right? So go to the Power Query Editor and then open the bridge table using the wheel icon. There you can select the location key. So that one also will be part of this one. But make sure that you select all the 3 columns, customer ID, product, location key, and then right click on it and remove the duplicates on a safer side. Okay. And then close and apply. You will have one more column like location key here, customer ID, product ID, location key, and then see if you are able to meet my requirement. Okay, that is the assignment. Okay, the next one is the many-to-many relationship. So what is many-to-many relationship? Many records in a table are associated with many records in another table. Give me an example for many-to-many relationship. This is a classic example. Product and customer dimension. Okay, product and customer. Let's say product by the name of let's say you have something like what is that? Toothbrush, right? Let's say you have toothbrush. The product is toothbrush. Colgate toothbrush. This toothbrush, a single product, right? Colgate toothbrush would have been purchased by more than one customer. Probably Avinash should have purchased, and Sumit would have purchased, Arvind would have purchased. The Colgate toothbrush would have purchased by more than one customer. Similarly, the single product, right? Colgate product, toothbrush would have purchased by more than one customer, or each customer, they would have purchased the same product more than one time, or more than one product also. So let's say customer Arvind, he purchased not only the Colgate toothbrush, but also he purchased another product like Colgate So this one paste, right? Toothpaste and soap, toiletry items, right? He purchased. A single customer would have purchased more than one product, and each product would have been purchased by more than one customer. Since there is a many-to-many relationship exists between these two tables, so that means the multiple records in a table are associated with multiple records in another table. So in this case, what happened? The many-to-many relationship exists between these two tables, so the product and customers. Okay, and that's what I said, right? The customers can purchase various products. Products can be purchased by many customers. This is a classic example, okay, for this one. And here in this case, what we did, we cannot implement it directly this one. Okay, now the question is to answer to this question, right? Let's, you want to create a report, something like this. So in that case, since there is a, right? So for example, first we'll go by this one. For example, in this table, I wanted to know the product name and then the customer name also. For example, he wants to know the product name and customer name. The product name is available here, but the customer name is available here. In order to bring these two values together, to display the product name and customer name in a table visual, we need to have a relationship between these two tables. Since we don't have the direct, forget about the bridge table at this moment. Okay, since we don't have the direct relationship between these two tables, and also, right, the customer ID is there. Customer, in order to create the relationship between these two tables, common column should be linked. But we don't see any common column between these two tables. Am I correct? So here only we have two columns. Can you see the customer ID or customer name here? No. So then we cannot, meet his manager's requirement. In order to meet his reporting requirement, business question, either what we can do is I can bring the customer ID and keep it here. So product ID and customer ID, I can keep it here. Okay, but the challenge here is, right, it is violating the normalization rule. There is some normalization rule. So in that case, what will happen is product ID and customer ID, if you bring it together here and the product name here and the customer name also here, right? If you keep it everything in a single table, it can lead to some kind of redundancy. Okay, and it violates the normalization rule. Okay, so what we are doing is we cannot keep the customer ID here because a single product ID purchased by more than one customer. See, it should be like this. I'll just show you the normalization rule. Violation of, what is the violation here? Okay, I just show you here. So in this is the table. Okay, in this table, for the sake of your understanding, right? I just only write two columns: product ID, product name, and then the customer ID. If I bring this one here to this single table, and we have cat ID and cost price, all the four columns, plus this column, if you bring it here, what will happen is you have category C001 and then cost price is 10 and or 100. Product ID is C0 or P001 and product name is Colgate. Okay, and the customer ID, if you bring it here, customer ID, let's A01 customer ID. Okay, and this product has been purchased by more than one customer. Okay, what you can do is here the primary key is product ID column, and since the product ID P001 Colgate toothbrush bought by Avinash and Sumit, right? For example, Avinash is A01 and Sumit is S01. We can put these two keywords because this single product ID bought by more than one customer, their corresponding customer ID, you can put it like this, but it violates the normalization rule. Right? Each column should have an atomic value, single value. Either you keep this guy's customer ID or this guy. Don't put more than one value in a single column. In a single column, you cannot put more than one value. It is against the rule. Maybe in a single column, the value can be very big one, let it be there, but don't put more than one value in a single column. that is violating the normalization rule. Okay, another thing is, okay, I don't want to put this one. I'm a smart guy. What I do is I just go and see 001 and 100 and P001 and then again Colgate toothbrush S01. Instead of putting S01, I'll put it here so that it is not going to violate the normalization rule, which means I'm not storing more than one value in each column, in this column. But what happens is you are repeating this record, right? Product ID, because this is the primary key. This is the unique ID column. This is the unique ID column. This column should have the unique value in it. Okay. It is violating again the normalization, rule. As per the normalization rule, you are not supposed to have more than one value in each column. And at the same time, you are not supposed to have the duplicate values in your primary key column. It is violating the normalization rule. Okay, normalization rule 1. Okay, both of them, as per rule 1, there are two conditions. First condition is you are not supposed to have more than one value in each column, and you are not supposed to have duplicate values in your key column. So hence, this option is ruled out. You cannot put the customer ID column here. You cannot put it here. And other thing is you cannot put the product ID column here. Again, it will violate the normalization rule. So what is the way out, man? So that is where the bridge table, we are going to use a bridge table. It is also called a join table. Some people they call it a join table. Some people they call it a link table. Okay. All these terms are same. A link table, join table, bridge table, all these three terms are same. The bridge table, what we are doing is we are bringing the unique ID columns from both the tables here. So in this table, what is the unique ID? The product ID, right? So product I will, I'll keep it here, and customer ID will keep it here. Here we can have duplicate values. For example, the product ID, the Colgate toothbrush P001 was bought by the first record. In the first record, we can have the customer ID is, Avinash01. That is what is customer ID, and product ID is P001. And again, the Sumit 01, P001. The same product can be duplicated here, the product ID in this table when it comes to the product ID. So the customer ID can also be duplicated. But the same customer, listen, Avinash, he purchased Hammam soap, okay, S001. The customer ID can be duplicated, but in this table, see, in this table, the product ID is the primary key column. It should have only the unique values in here. The customer ID, should be unique. Whereas here, the customer ID column can have duplicates individually. Okay, the product ID can have duplicates in it. But when you look at the combination of these two, right, it will be like a composite key, composite primary key kind of thing. Okay. So we cannot implement, we cannot see, this is a many to many kind of relationship. Okay. We cannot implement it directly. So with these two tables alone, can you generate a report like this? This is one of the business requirement. But you are not, so in that case, what you need to do is you need to put the customer ID here so that the customer ID and customer ID can link it and get the customer name from it and product name here. But if you put the customer ID here, it violates the normalization rule. And if you put the product ID table in this table, it violates the normalization table. The only way out is, create a bridge table. The bridge table, you can have the duplicate values, but the combination of these two, you will not find any duplicate values. But with the combination of these two, right, you can get since you have created the relationship between these two tables, one to many. So what happens is you can join these two tables and get the customer product name, right? Product ID. Okay. And then when you join these two tables using product ID, you can get the product name. And since we join these two tables using the customer ID column, with the help of the customer ID column, we can join with this table, and then we do a lookup and get the customer name. That is the idea of this one. So now what I do is this bridge table, I'm going to use it as a filter. I'm going to use this bridge table to filter my fact table. Okay, that is what we already did it. right? So and again, by the other advantage of bridge table is we can eliminate the need of enabling the bidirectional relationship manually, and also we don't have to have the measure also. Right, so that is one advantage. Other advantages to address or to overcome the limitations, the normalization rule, right? So we are introducing a bridge table in the case of many-to-many relationship. With the help of the bridge table, we can do the filtering with sales fact by table. That is what we did it, and now we are able to look here. The quantity column comes from sales fact table. Look here. So here the count of customer ID, the product, and this one comes from sales fact, and quantity comes from fact, and then this one comes from the bridge table, right? Bridge table. So instead of bridge table, here I have used bridge table. Correct. Yeah. From the bridge table, I am able to get this one. And also similarly, right? You can drag and drop the customer name here, and then it will display the customer name if you want. Okay. Each product purchased by which all customers, and if we want that detail, you can do it. The product name and customer name also you can bring it in a single table, right? So you can, since we have introduced the bridge table between these two tables, you can do it. Any questions? No. Okay. So in the interview, they'll ask you this question: what is many-to-many relationship? All the records in a table or associated with all the records are in the other table. The classic example is you can tell them. So we have something like in our project, we have product table, product dimension, customer dimension. Each product is purchased by more than one customer, and each customer can buy more than one product. So in this case, multiple rows in table one are related with multiple rows in other table. So to overcome that, we have used the bridge table. Okay, we cannot implement the many-to-many directly. Okay, the number one reason is I know the product dimension and customer dimension, we cannot the relationship in the first place. Okay, for that we have to introduce a bridge table, and then we did this. See, in general, right? If you use the product and customer dimension directly here, see here also you have the customer ID and product ID, right? So the fact table itself serves as a kind of a bridge table. Okay. But I will give you some other example. Okay, and the other example is something like you have something called the yesterday I explained you about the account table, right? Like a bank example. There's something like 1 second. I just take. Let's say you have account table, bank account, your account number table, account table, and the customer table, and then this is your transaction table, day-to-day transaction table, or it's a fact table. You just think about this one. Okay, this is account table. In the account table, what will happen? You will have the account ID. What is your savings account number? And then the name of the account, savings or something like that, right? Say the account name. So account ID is A001, savings account. A002 is current account, something like that. Okay. So you have two columns, and the customer table you have obviously the customer ID and customer name. Okay. And here in the transaction table, you have the account ID. So with the help of the account ID, you can identify uniquely the customer, right? So ACCT ID and the amount and date. Simple example. Okay. So in this case, this is my table and this is another table. 3 tables are there. Okay. But in this case, a single customer or an account can be, owned by more than one customer. A single account can be owned by more than one customer. Okay, Pawat Padi has another example. Table A has employee name, month salary, and table B has employee name, expenses. Can it be an example of many to many? So yeah, okay. So the table is your employee table and then employee information, and table B as expenses table, right? An employee can have more than one expenses. Each expense can be so that way we cannot say, right? We cannot say each expense can be made by, that is not here. What is the key in the, if you have expense ID, yeah, if you have an expense ID, right? So that is, I wouldn't say that one is the correct thing. You can go by this one. Okay, so maybe this one. So they are, or put the key columns in that. Okay, I put the, for example, your expenses table, or in the expense the account table, you have something. See in the auditor, right? So the accounts people, typical accounts people, right? They will have something like accounts table and expense table, right? So maybe you can have the keys there, but I don't know the accounting domain. Okay, much. So here the bank account, the account ID, account name, and customer ID and customer name. So in this case, each account can be owned by more than one customer. The example is joint account. In my case, I'm having only one bank savings account, but it is a joint account. Right? So in this case, one account, I have more than one customer, my mother and me. Okay, and similarly, each customer can have more than so. Right, let's say Avinash, he holds a savings account, and then he holds the current account also. Right, so each customer can have more than one account. So this is a classic example. This is another example for you. Can give any number of examples. Make sure that you are explaining it clearly. Okay, so in that case, what happens? Oh, sorry, I deleted this. This is your account table, and this is your transaction table, right? This is your account table. This is your customer table and account. So in this case, what happened? Your account ID is there here, customer ID is there. So what each customer is owning more than one account, and each account can be held by more than one customer. So this is a many-to-many relationship. In that case, you can introduce a bids table, link table, or bids table. Here you can bring the account ID, and you can bring the customer ID. Okay, and this is the one is your bids table. So now what you can do is you can filter this one with this one. Okay, that way you can do it. Okay, instead of filtering, this table using this one, I can also filter this way, right? So yeah, I can also filter this way. But in that case, what will happen is, for example, if I wanted to use my customer table to filter my account table, in that case, what I need to do is I need to enable the bidirectional relationship here again, right? So that confusion will come into picture. Okay, so in that kind of situation, right? So what we do is we don't use this one. We can directly filter this one here. Okay, so you can use the bridge table to filter this one. Okay, got it. So this is the one. Another example is, see here we have the fact table, right? While I call the order fact table. Another example, and then I have something called fulfillment fact table. So in the interview, they'll ask you, can you tell me the tables that you used? See, order table and fulfillment tables are very common in any, in the case of retail project, right? The order, and even the case of food delivery system, Swiggy and other things. Order, the customer's order detail will be there, and then fulfilled. How many number of orders that we have fulfilled. But when it comes to food delivery, right? If they make an order, what are the items they order it as part of that? What are the products that they order it a specific order, right? Order number. All the items needs to be shipped. In the case of Amazon, take for example Amazon, you buy more than one product, okay, in a single order. Okay, so not necessarily all the products in a single order can be delivered at the same time, right? So you might have the face this one, right? So we are all ordering products from the Amazon. So let's say my order number is 1001. I have ordered a smartwatch. Okay, and I have ordered a smartwatch, and as I have ordered a t-shirt. Listen, a t-shirt in a single order. I've ordered these two things. Okay, but Amazon, what they do is they will they ship this one first, and then this one they ship it in other day, right? Not necessarily all the items in a single order can be shipped at the same time. So we want to track, right? So fulfillment fact, we want to check which date or the shipment fact or fulfillment. You can tell them shipment fact and order fact, two facts we were using it. Apart from that, we were using many dimension tables. Okay. So in this case, fact table to fact table, also, if you want to do some kind of filtering, right? If you want to know which all orders, got executed on time, which products were, which products are due, right? So you need to, use these two table to filter it. In that case, you need to, introduce a, bridge table between these fact tables to do the filtering. Okay. Between the fact table also, we create some bridge tables. Okay. Anyhow, I don't want to confuse it with, explain so many things. Okay. Anyhow, we will have some exercise. Probably I will give you some exercise. You can work on that. That point in time, we'll discuss that one. Okay. I will take the same example of the order fact table and then shipment fact table. Okay. That example, I will share it to you, and then let me see, how you can do the filtering. I will give you the reporting requirement also, and you need to create the relationship. Make sure that you are creating the sufficient number of bridge tables. Okay. And then you create that report. We'll see how we can do it. So you guys understood what are the approaches we can use it in order to enable the bidirectional relationship. Which one is the best one? Right? The manual way of configuring the bidirectional is not at all recommended. It will slow down the performance. Other ways you can use measure. Other approaches you can use bridge table. Okay, in that case you can overcome that. And other things are like the many-to-many relationship. Right? I have explained you with the two different examples. Don't tell the student enrollment and all. They can easily make out that you did not work in the real-time scenario, okay? Because you are not talking the business table, you are talking some academic examples. Okay, fine. The next, what we will do is the next topic is